In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to teach you a process that could save you $1,500 potentially on a logo design. I know some of you are just going to skip people like me in designing a logo and creating a logo because I've seen so many startups go to ChatGPT to create a logo. And if they're in home care, they end up with a logo that looks a lot like this. So this video is to help prevent that, because I want you to end up with a logo that's more of a brand rather than just a logo that's a hodgepodge of industry brand trap tropes. Each of these icons is so common in home care, it's not going to set you apart as a business. What I want is for you to have a logo that will last you longer, maybe 10, 15 years, depending on the evolution of your brand or if things change. You should have a logo that's more like this. This logo right here is a result of the process that I'm going to walk you through for the next 15 minutes. And it'll help you get something more brand worthy, more brandable, more memorable, and more distinguishing in your community than what AI typically spits out for people that just go to AI and enter their name and say, I'm in home care, now build me a logo, and just run with it. Again, no shade here for wanting to save some money and do something through AI. I use AI as a tool and a resource all the time. I use it for some inspiration too, for some design work all the time to give me some quick work to then take to a different kind of AI, Adobe Illustrator, to run it across the finish line. And I'm going to tell you right now, this logo right here is a result of what I'm going to walk you through in the next little bit. I did not take this to Illustrator and add any polish to this. If you follow this process, you can come up with something as strong for you. It might look way different because you're a different brand than the one I made up here. But the process gave this as a result, as opposed to this more generic, not well branded, very industry based logo graphic. All right, you ready? Let's go through some steps. Now, everything I'm talking about here is in this book, Branded by Design, Home Care, Home Health Edition. It's a book that I wrote and published in 2024 to help businesses identify their brand, come up with a brand name that's worthy of all the emotions and everything that they want to have associated with their brand, come up with a logo that's a real brand, not just a graphic. And it even goes into messaging and communication and imagery and website structure. It goes into everything that a business needs to understand about branding their business effectively as a foundation. And then from there, everything just continues to build. So you might think coming up with the name is the first thing you need to do. Well, that's because the state kind of tells you that and you got through licensing. But naming is actually a chapter 4 thing for us here in this book. And if you've already come up with a name, let's put a pin in that for a bit. You can still come back to it, but I don't want it to interfere with the work that you're going to do for the next few minutes of this video. You're probably going to take more than a few minutes to do it yourself. And if you want, again, if you want to purchase this book to start doing the work offline and figure this out, you're more than welcome to go and get it. I'm actually going to show you a couple chapters, aspects here in the video. First thing is to come up with your brand essence. The brand essence is basically your brand personality, your user values, your emotional rewards, your functional benefits, and the features of your brand. And all of these are not what factors. These are why-based factors. So you're going to talk more in terms of your purpose and the desired outcomes and real outcomes and experiences through these terms rather than what home care is. You're not listing off the ADLs that you support people with or all the functional things your caregivers do. That's not your brand. That's your delivery of an experience consistently, but that is not your brand. A brand is more along the lines of the personality, which is going to fit into 5 different categories. There's 5 main categories of personality for businesses. The first one is sincerity, which is like down to earthness, honesty, cheerfulness, wholesomeness. Excitement, which might be you're more daring, more spirited, you're really up to date and modern. That's a big focus of yours. Competence, reliability, trustworthiness, timeliness. All of those are going to be part of home care, but competence kind of rings like compassion, which is kind of an empty term right now in home care because everyone's claiming it. So you're not going to stand out if you hold to that, but you can use it here in this exercise to come up with some other ways to effectually communicate that without saying the same words everyone else is saying. Right? You don't want to sound like, look like, or feel like everyone else. Otherwise, why aren't you working for them? And I imagine you wanted to give yourself a unique business and stand out uniquely and offer services in a unique meaningful way to people. So if that's you, let's continue. All right, sophistication and ruggedness. Those are some other terms that are related to a brand personality. So the first exercise is write down a bunch of terms that you want people to associate with you from your core identity, your core values, how you interact with people. When they think about you, what personality terms would you want them to associate with you? And write down several. Now, as you've written those down, go back and circle ones that are similar and align those with sincerity versus excitement versus ruggedness, and see which category has the most terms. And let's lean more into that. Okay, so that's going to be more of your dominant personality within your brand, because there can be several personalities within a brand. That's just your more dominant one that you want to inform ChatGPT or other AI tools with. Now we're going to look at user values. This is kind of getting into a right fit audience value base, but what do they need? What do they want? What emotions are they hoping for? And look at your caregivers too. It's not just your clients that will fit within this brand. And what do you want? What are your emotional rewards as an owner? What are the values you have? So look at your values, the caregiver values, look at client values, pour those out, write those out in kind of short paragraphs. And then let's look at emotional rewards too. Like, what feelings do you want people to hold to as a result of the experiences that you deliver on? And there's a few different exercises in the book to go over feelings. But I'd say just keep writing about things. They're saying, all right, what are some emotions that people have right now? What are some emotions we want to replace those feelings of stress, fear with? And then write those down. Perfect. Now, functional benefits, if there are some things that you do uniquely that you have special training on, put those down in a functional benefits section. And then now let's build the right fit audience. Right fit audience is going to be the demographics, their age, it's going to be the location, it's going to be their gender, which is going to be both, in most cases here for home care, you might have more dominant gender that you serve. There are some home cares that just focus specifically on one versus the other. So you'd make that decision, and then look at financial. There's an acronym in here called IDEAL in the book. And it's basically talking about those that are in need, those with a diminished, disabled, dementia kind of situation. So look at what causes them to have a need. Look at their age. That's the E, elderly or enhanced opportunity. Maybe they just had surgery and there might be a short-term or potentially long-term. Maybe they have CHF or other conditions going on. And then available resources. How are they sitting financially? Do you need to communicate to them one way versus another because of dependency on insurances or state funding or private pay? All those are factors here. And then look at factors that might be part of the L in IDEAL, which is longevity, long-term care. What things might lead to you having a more long-term care client than other things that typical home care businesses focus on? I know that's a lot of homework, but this is the work that you need to do to really establish your brand essence, your brand personality, to better inform not just AI to help you with a logo and a brand potential development here, but to help your entire team understand the real why and purpose behind your business. Because all of this work right here is what's going to pour into your SOPs. It's going to pour into how you deliver care and serve people, who you hire, who you fire, and how you affect change and impact your community. Right. So all those are important pieces here. Now take all of that information that you just wrote down, put together, and feed that to AI and just say, hey, ChatGPT, hey, Gemini, hey, Claude, hold on to this information, instructions to come, so to speak. And it'll say, great, I've got it. Now what? Now you're going to say, help me come up with a name. But instead of just saying, help me come up with a name, you're going to fill out these prompts. So hopefully you didn't do that and hit enter yet. First thing to come up with a good name for your business is actually exclusionary. So you're going to write this really long prompt that I'm going to give you, because the more specific your prompt is, the better the outcomes will be, because AI is only as smart as you tell it to be and how smart you inform it. So let's get some good input so you get amazing outputs. The first thing you're going to do is say, hey, ChatGPT, or hey, AI, help me come up with some business name examples that fit the brand essence and right fit client descriptions previously entered. To do that, please exclude the following names and any names that sound similar to them. Write all these names of competition in your area. Put in some national franchises that you know of as well, so you don't come up with another Helping Hands There's so many of them out there. It's kind of crazy. The Helping Hands isn't shutting people down for that, but there's so many Helping Hands or Caring Hands or Assisting Hands companies out there. Avoid those. Okay. And then go for, now you have exclusion, say exclude these names. And as you create a list, give me these types of name options and variations. So you're going to say, give me some value-based name suggestions. Okay. And then another group of names, give me some literal name suggestions. And another group of names, give me some abstract words that could be used as names that would connect with my right fit audience and my brand essence. Then give me some word combinations. Word combinations are like Nabisco or Trivago. So give me some word combinations that could create a new word to emphasize my brand. And if you give it something like, if you say, give me a word combination like Trivago, AI will figure that out and work on some of those for some terms and some names that fit with your brand. And then also ask it for some synonyms, some words that mean something similar to your brand essence, but might create a whole other word that isn't used commonly in home care. That's how I came up with Revivify, by the way. Revivify was a synonym name search, and it stood out to me among everything else that came from this exercise, right? And then you're going to say, as you're building this list or these lists of names, avoid names that might give alternate meanings that could be negatively impactful to my brand, because there are some words out there that in some cultures and some languages, even in the United States, might have a derogatory meaning or a negative term to them. So say avoid some negative terms. Now hit enter and look at all those names that are going to pour out to you. Sit on this for a while and talk to friends, family, mentors, trusted individuals, and ask them which name makes sense. But narrow it down, like pick 5 out of all those names. Pick 5, take that list of people that you trust and that are good at giving insight and feedback, and come up with some names. Now you're going to go into, once you picked a name, say, come back, you've picked a name. Now you're going to look at an icon for your brand. Don't put your name in at this point. Don't even tell the AI what name you chose. Say, given everything from before the name suggestions, give me some icon recommendations that meet my brand essence and my right fit audience that would be representative of that and fit the personality, right? So you want a logo icon that fits your why and your brand essence more than the industry what. Again, the difference is industry what, why based on what I built in for the brand that I made up here. Now you've got some icon options. Look at the icons that stand out to you. And if you're still not sure which one to use, take one and take the name or a couple names or 2 icons and just hold on to those for a minute in a future prompt. Now you're going to want to look at colors and fonts. Colors and fonts are emotional. They absolutely connect with the emotions and the brand personality that you want people to associate with your brand. So now you'll ask AI, ChatGPT, what are some colors and fonts that I should consider that would effectively represent the brand essence and personality and my right fit audience? And it'll give you some colors and suggestions. Sometimes it gives you pretty specific colors. Now we get to build a logo. Okay. After all that, we're building a logo. After all of that is when I actually start working on logos in Illustrator as well. So that's when it should start for you too. Now, if you have a name that you've held on to, it's a name that you're married to, you're excited about, take that name and put it in and say which icons you want to use in combination, and then tell it to use 2 or 3 of the colors that it poured out to you. And if there's a font that you're preferring out of the font suggestions I gave you, pick a font and say, okay, ChatGPT, let's build a logo based on everything up to this point, based on everything you know, using this name, this or these icons, these fonts and colors. Give me 3 to 5 logo variations to consider and give them to me in PNG high resolution format. And it'll give you a bunch of logos to look at. Now you have some logos to consider. Now you have some logos that could very potentially work for you for 7 to 10 years plus. These are more brand worthy logos. Take those talk to friends and family, the same people that you trusted with looking at your name, and decide which one is going to work best for you. And you can take these logos at business cards, web designers, brochure designers. You can take this logo anywhere and use it effectively and stand out. So as promised, stick around to that 15-minute mark here. If you have questions on this, let me know. Reach out to me. Go buy the book, Branded by Design. Fill out a form on my website. Let's schedule a quick consult, visit with you to give you some feedback. Happy to provide some brief free consult on ideas and suggestions if you want to come to them with me. And if you do need some across the finish line work, and you've got 90% of this done, SureBeat's doing a full logo project if you have a light budget. Reach out to me and let me know how I can help you.